boys and girls. Welcome back to Lullaby Bedtime Stories. Tonight's story is entitled Jesus Restored Peter. John chapter 21. After Jesus and his disciples had finished eating breakfast, Jesus directed his conversation to Peter, but he did so in the presence of all the other disciples, because what Jesus had to say was not just for Peter's benefit, but for all the other disciples. Besides, boys and girls, Peter's denial was public knowledge. Therefore, he needed to be publicly restored. And the other disciples needed to hear Peter's reaffirmation of his love for Jesus and Jesus's recommissioning of him to his former position of leadership. So they would be willing, so that the other disciples would be willing to loyally support Peter's leadership. Jesus started the conversation with Peter by addressing him by his full name: Simon, son of John. I wonder why Jesus addressed him by his full name: Simon, son of John. Boys and girls, it was because when he denied that he ever knew Jesus, he was not living up to the name Jesus gave him in Matthew chapter 16, verses 15 through 19. Jesus called him Peter, the rock. So Jesus asked him a heart-wrenching and a heart-searching question. Do you love me? Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Peter answered, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, Feed my lambs. Jesus was asking Peter to compare and examine his love for him to that of the love that the other disciples had for him. Why? Why would Jesus want to do that? Because you see, Peter had claimed to love Jesus more than anybody else, any other disciple. Yes, that's what Peter said before Jesus was crucified. So, while Peter was remembering that he indeed made this declaration of love to Jesus, Jesus asked Peter a second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Again, Peter answered, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said, Take care of my sheep. before Peter could rebound from the second question, Jesus hit him with the third question. Simon, son of John, do you love me? By this time, Peter was so shook up. He was so grieved in his heart because Jesus asked him the same questions 3 times. Peter's final answer was, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. Again, Jesus answered Peter, feed my sheep. Boys and girls, Jesus didn't ask Peter, are you sorry for denying me? He didn't ask him, will you promise never, never, never to deny me again? Neither did he try to embarrass Peter or place him on a guilt trip. Jesus simply challenged Peter to love. Why, boys and girls? Because Jesus knew that Peter would never deny him again if he really loved him. And Peter and Jesus knew that no one can deny the one you love. Thank you for listening, boys and girls. Thank you for listening to Lullaby Bedtime Stories. Don't forget, boys and girls, Jesus loves you. And he wants to know, and he knows whether or not you love him. I pray that you do, because he really loves you with a big love, bigger than you can ever imagine or ever think. Don't forget to subscribe and tell others about Lullaby Bedtime Stories. Thank you for being with me. Bye now.